Hello, this is Randall, the Michigan Tropical Gardener, and I'm going to take these apple peelings and cores and things and use them to make apple cider vinegar. I'm going to put them into this vase, as I need a wide mouth glass, preferable container, and that will do just fine. And I need to put something over it that will breathe, and that's where this comes in, cheesecloth. And I need some warm water, and that's what I was just running. Okay, so to do this, I need to put the peelings into the vase here. I let them sit for a little while. They say, I guess, you should let them get brown, but I don't think that's necessarily written in stone. You just need to put them into the glass container. I'll try to keep my video from being all shaky. Now, there are different opinions on what you can do, how to do it. Basically, what you're doing is you're adding either all peelings and scraps and things like that, or you can use the entire apple. It all depends on what you want to do and what you have. But you want to fill it up at least 3/4 of the way. Mine's closer to being really full, which is fine. And I need to add water to it. And once again, there are different schools of thought. I've read instructions where they say just to add water to this, top it off with water. I've also read where people used water and then they added sugar or honey to it. And basically what that does is it speeds up the process of turning this into alcohol, and then the alcohol will then turn into the vinegar. All depends on what you want to do, how much time you want to spend. It's going to take at least a month either way. You let this sit with the water in there and kind of stir it up once a day. Once again, this is, it seems like everybody has a different method. You can either just let it sit in there for a month or 6 months, or you can stir it every day. Depends on what you want to do. I think what I will do is I will add 2 tablespoons of sugar to some warm water and then fill this up. So, yeah, the water is pretty warm. Okay, one moment, please. Okay. I'm not sure how much water it's going to take, but we'll start with that. And I'll add an imprecise measurement of sugar into there. That's good enough, because otherwise I wasn't going to add any sugar to it initially anyway. Okay, now we'll just pour that in. And I'll add some more water to that. But as I said, the sugar only speeds up the fermentation process. And really the entire process is, you determine when it's done. After a week, I will probably be removing all of the apple peels and all of that stuff and straining that out and then putting it back in here to sit for another, like I said, maybe 6 months. It all depends on what you want to do. You want to taste it after it gets to be at least maybe a month. And you can try it out and see if the fermentation process has gone from alcoholic to more like a vinegar. And then it's a matter of preference. If you think it tastes like the vinegar you want it to be, then it's fine. Otherwise, you can just let it sit and keep fermenting. For more information, there are many sources on the web that you can check out. But now I'm going to cover this with the cheesecloth just to keep any bugs that might come along and dust and things like that. And then I'll put a rubber band around there if I can fit it on there. And then I'm going to leave it on the counter somewhere in a corner so it's more dark. I don't have anywhere else really right now that's warm enough, like in the basement. It'd be too cool. And so I'll leave it on the counter somewhere and then check it every day. So I'll continue making updates on this to let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye. Hello, this is Randall, the Michigan Tropical Gardener, and this is my apple cider vinegar after a week. So as you can see, it's getting cloudy, which it's supposed to do. And I can't really tell in the bottom, but it will be forming a kind of a thick layer on the bottom, which is often called the mother. Never mind the NCAA game playing in the background. And so anyway, that's looking pretty good. My other one hasn't been in the container for a week. Okay, here's the other one, and you can see that it is it's fermenting by all the bubbles. Plus, I took a slotted spoon to kind of force it back down under the liquid, and you can, well, you can't, but I can smell the fermentation process. It smells a little sour, but that is my other apple cider vinegar, which has not been in there for a week. So we'll just cover that back up and let that continue brewing. And we'll check on it again in maybe a week or so. There are different ways of making apple cider vinegar. Excuse me. There are different ways of making apple cider vinegar. Some will tell you to mix it, to stir it up every day. I've read some that said just to put the apple peels and cores and things like that, add water, and just let it sit. So it depends on what you want to do. You can follow whichever one you feel most comfortable with. I added some sugar to the water that I put in there to kickstart the fermentation process, but I still haven't mixed anything. It's just kind of sitting there on its own, so we'll see how that works out. Some will tell you to empty it out after a week or two and then let the rest with the liquid then ferment for a week or so, or a week. Some will tell you to allow the fermentation process to continue for months at a time, or maybe a couple of months, if you don't use sugar, or if you do use sugar. Some. This is kind of a hybrid of the different methods. So we'll check back in this a couple more weeks. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hello, this is Randall, the Michigan Tropical Gardener, and I started without you. Yeah, wasn't thinking and started without you. I am going to take all the peels, cores, and everything else, remove it from there, and then return the liquid back into there as soon as I get that cleaned out. Some of it looked like it was getting moldy on the top, which is probably why they say to stir it. Although some of it is just looking like that. So what I will do is transfer that into there, getting rid of the peels and all of that stuff, and then once I collect all the liquid from these two containers, then I will clean that out and return it to there, and then put it back on the counter to age. So it's going to be a difficult challenge to hold on to this. And well, I'll get my holder. Hold on. Okay. Now, I will pour that into here. It has been over 2 weeks since I've allowed this to sit on the counter. And I've been following what other people have done, and so going by that, this should be fine. And really, I don't think there's any way you can not do it right. I mean, once you put the apple peels in the water, nature will take its course, and if you add sugar, it speeds it up much faster. I'm not going to give that to my worms just because I added the sugar, and I don't think they need to be eating that. Okay, I'll put that in there to clean. And we'll add this. This batch has not been in here for 2 weeks, but it's been pretty close. Okay. I don't think there's really too much more liquid in there. I'm really not going to try to force any liquid out. Okay. We'll clean that. And I do want to rinse this out. Not that I suppose that it really makes much difference. I'm not going to use soap and water, but I do want to quickly rinse this out. All right. I'm not sure if I will be able to fit all of that liquid into this container, which is actually a vase. We'll see. I believe that the mouth of this container vase is wide enough that I should be able to pour this in here, without making too much of a mess. But we'll do it over the sink anyway. Okay, here we go. Oh! And guess what? I poured some of it into the sink. Which is okay, because this is actually pretty close to being right to the tap. I don't know if that's going to work out. Now, I will return this to being on the top. What'll happen is that this will end up soaking up some of that liquid. So what we'll do is we'll take a mason jar and take out some of this and put it into the mason jar. Which we will quickly rinse out. I don't think there's any reason for it to be sterilized. Of course, I'm sure somebody can tell me differently. Yeah, maybe a little more. Okay, I'll put this back on there. We'll pop that out. We will return this to there. We'll leave one layer. Put that over top, and that should be good. So, what I will do now is return this to where I had it, which was in a corner of the counter by the stove, kind of an out-of-the-way place. And we'll check on it again in 2 months and see how it's going. So thanks for tuning in. Take care. See you in 2 months. Bye. Hello, this is Randall the Michigan Tropical Gardener, and this is my finished apple cider vinegar. I didn't show you the final process. which was basically filtering the cider vinegar through a coffee filter. Exciting stuff. However, here's what we have. It looks like apple cider vinegar. Amazing. So, that's it from the beginning of the video to now. This is what we have. Move that back so I can. There we go. It can take several months. You know, it depends on how it tastes and how strong you want your cider vinegar. It's up to you. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.